Close your eyes and listen. You hear car horns, a vendor calling out tamales, the bells of the Metropolitan Cathedral, the rumble of a metro line running 100 feet beneath you. This is the Zócalo, the central square of Mexico City, one of the largest cities on Earth. But beneath your shoes, beneath this concrete, lies something most people will never see. 5 centuries ago, the most old you wouldn't be standing on stone. You would be standing in water. At the heart of an island city more populated than London, cleaner than Paris, floating on a lake the size of a small country. This is the story of Tenochtitlan, and we are going to watch it appear, rise, drown, and vanish from a single fixed point of view across 12,000 years. I locked a virtual camera in the exact spot where the Templo Mayor, the great twin pyramid of the Mexica, once stood. From this one point, you will see every era that ever touched this ground. Built from codices, Spanish maps, archaeological surveys, and AI reconstruction. The story always starts the same way, with ice. 12,000 years ago, the Valley of Mexico is colder than any winter you've ever felt. Glacial winds spill down from the 2 great volcanoes that still stand here today, Popocatépetl and Iztaccíhuatl. The air smells of pine and wet stone. Where the Zócalo will one day exist, there is no city, no streets, no people. There is a shallow saltwater lake, frozen at its edges, surrounded by tundra grass and forest. Mammoths walk this valley. Their footprints have been found by archaeologists less than 50 kilometers from where I'm pointing this camera. Giant ground sloths, saber-toothed cats, and bison the size of trucks pass through the same coordinates where, one day, an Aztec emperor will sit on a turquoise throne. And humans are already here. Small bands, perhaps 30 or 40 people at a time, hunting along the lakeshore. Their stone tools, Clovis points, have been pulled from the lakebed beneath modern Mexico City. They are the first to see this view. They will not be the last. The ice retreats. The lake warms. Over 6,000 years, it splits into 5 interconnected lakes: Zumpango, Xaltocan, Texcoco, Xochimilco, Chalco. The valley fills with reeds, ducks, fish, frogs, salamanders the locals will one day call axolotl. The big animals are gone, hunted into extinction. But the people stay. They stop following herds. They start planting maize, beans, squash, the 3 sisters that will feed every civilization that ever rises here. Where the camera stands, there is still only water. Reeds. A heron, perhaps. And on the western shore, smoke rising from the first permanent villages in the Americas. By 1500 BC, the valley is dotted with farming towns: Tlatilco, Cuicuilco, Coapexco. They make ceramic figurines of dancers, acrobats, dogs, women in elaborate hairstyles. They trade obsidian across hundreds of miles. Then, sometime around 100 BC, the volcano Xitle erupts. It buries Cuicuilco, a city of 20,000 people under 20 feet of lava. The survivors flee north to a young settlement that will become the largest city in the Americas. Its name is Teotihuacan. The point where this camera floats? Still underwater. Still empty. The story of this exact place hasn't started yet.
40 kilometers from here, Teotihuacan grows monstrous. Pyramids of the sun and moon rise from the plain. At its height, 125,000 people live there. It is bigger than Rome. Its influence stretches into the Maya world, the Zapotec south, the deserts of the north, but not here. Not yet. Then, around 550 AD, Teotihuacan burns. We still don't know exactly why. Drought, revolt, invasion, historians argue. The temples are torn down. The city empties. For 300 years, the Valley of Mexico has no center. Our camera still hovers over open water, patient, waiting. They come from the north, a poor, wandering tribe nobody wants. They call themselves Mexica. Other people call them Aztecas, those from Aztlan, a homeland nobody can find on a map. For 200 years, they drift through the valley. Every kingdom they try to settle near drives them off. They serve as mercenaries. They eat snakes. They are mocked for their poverty. Then, according to their priests, the god Huitzilopochtli gives them a sign. They are to look for an eagle perched on a cactus, devouring a serpent. Where they see this, they are to build their city. They see it on a swampy, unwanted island in the middle of Lake Texcoco. The year is 1325. They see it here, where this camera floats. They start with mud and reeds, a single shrine, a handful of huts. The other kingdoms laugh. Within 200 years, the people who are laughing will all be subjects of the city they thought was nothing. The Mexica engineer their own land. They sink wooden stakes into the lake bed. They pile up mud, reeds, decomposing plants. They build chinampas, floating gardens, so productive that 1 acre can feed a family of 15 for a year. They build 3 causeways stretching to the mainland, each wide enough for 10 horses abreast. They build aqueducts carrying fresh water from the springs of Chapultepec. And right here, where this camera sees, they build the Templo Mayor, a pyramid with 2 stairways and 2 shrines on top, one for Tlaloc, the rain god, one for Huitzilopochtli, the sun and war god. Every 50 years, they tear it down and rebuild it bigger, 7 times. Each new temple swallows the previous one, like a Russian doll. By 1500, Tenochtitlan holds between 200,000 and 300,000 people. It is 4 times the size of London. It is cleaner than any European capital. Every house has running water. Every district has a public toilet. Human waste is collected and sold as fertilizer. There are zoos, botanical gardens, schools that every child must attend by law, including the daughters of poor commoners. There is no city like it on Earth. November 8th, 1519. A Spanish captain named Hernán Cortés walks across the southern causeway into Tenochtitlan. He has 500 men. The city has 250,000. The Emperor Moctezuma II meets him in person. The Spaniards are housed in a palace. They are shown the markets, the temples, the gardens.
The chronicler Bernal Diaz will later write that some of his men thought they were dreaming, that nothing in Spain compared to this. What follows is not a battle, it is a siege. The Spaniards take Moctezuma hostage. They are driven out in a single bloody night, the Noche Triste. They come back with allies, tens of thousands of indigenous warriors who hate the Mexica more than they fear the Spanish. They come back with smallpox, a disease the Americas have never seen. For 93 days, the Mexica defend their city. The Spanish build small ships and sail them across Lake Texcoco. They cut the aqueduct. They burn the canals. They tear down houses to fill in the streets and let cavalry through. On August 13th, 1521, the last emperor, Cuauhtémoc, is captured, trying to escape by canoe. The Templo Mayor falls, right where this camera floats, stone by stone. The Spanish use the rubble to build their own city directly on top of the ruins. The lake itself becomes a graveyard. Where the Great Pyramid stood, the Spanish begin to build a cathedral. They reuse Aztec stones. You can still see them today, embedded in the foundation. They lay it out facing the same square the Aztecs used. They call it the Plaza Mayor. We call it the Zocalo. The lake becomes a problem. Without the Mexica engineers, it floods constantly. In 1629, water rises 5 feet above the streets and stays there for 5 years. Most of the population dies or flees. The Spanish viceroys order the lake drained. It will take 3 centuries to finish. Around this fixed camera, Baroque palaces rise, convents, hospitals, a university, the first on the American continent, opened in 1551, almost 100 years before Harvard. The Catedral Metropolitana takes 240 years to complete. Its bell towers sink slowly as the dried lakebed beneath it compresses. The city is still beautiful, but it is no longer a miracle of water. It is mud now, and dust. 1810. A priest named Hidalgo rings a church bell in the town of Dolores and calls for independence from Spain. 11 years of war follow. In 1821, Mexican troops march into this square through the Zocalo Gate. The viceroy's flag comes down. A new one goes up. But the square does not rest. In the next 100 years, presidents, emperors, dictators, foreign invaders, American, then French, all enter Mexico City through this point and address the crowds from these balconies. Maximilian I, an Austrian archduke, declares himself Emperor of Mexico from this very square in 1864. 3 years later, he is shot. Tramways are laid across the Zocalo. Gas lamps go up. The first photographs of this place are taken in the 1860s. The pavement is repaved a dozen times. Beneath it, the buried Templo Mayor sleeps, forgotten. 1910, the Mexican Revolution. 1 million people die over 10 years. Pancho Villa rides into the Zocalo. The flag is raised again, then changed again, then changed again. 1968, the Olympics. Massive crowds, massive protests, massive violence 10 days before the opening ceremony. 1978, electricity workers digging a trench at the corner of this square strike a stone disc more than 3 meters across, depicts the dismembered body of the goddess Coyoshauqui. The Aztec city has been buried right here, all along. Archaeologists are called. 2 square blocks of colonial buildings are demolished. The Templo Mayor, or what remains of its lowest levels, is exposed for the first time in 457 years. 1985. An earthquake of magnitude 8.0 strikes the city. 20,000 people die. Hundreds of buildings collapse. The cathedral cracks. The Templo Mayor, already a ruin, survives, ironically, because it was built on the most stable ground in the entire valley. The Aztecs knew.
And now, 2026. 22 million people live in this metropolitan area. Skyscrapers in the distance. Cars in every direction. A Mexican flag the size of a basketball court flutters in the center of the square. Beneath my camera, 8 meters down, the stones of the Templo Mayor still stand. Above it, tourists take selfies. Beneath that, the bones of the Mexica. Beneath that, the lake bed where their ancestors fished. Beneath that, the ash of Cuicuilco. Beneath that, the bones of mammoths. Beneath that, the ice. 12,000 years. 1 point in space. The greatest city you never got to see. If there is another lost city you want me to bring back, Cahokia, Carthage, Angkor, Persepolis, Teotihuacan, let me know in the comments. I'll keep walking back through time. Thank you for being here.